What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Two Next Chicks. I'm your girl, Lady and the Chef, and I'm joined by my co-host this evening.
Dblox21, what's up?
It's another day. We get to talk basketball, which is exciting. It's one of my favorite things to do, and to be able to join you and talk about Liberty basketball. The Liberties are currently in the playoffs. They moved past round one. We're now in the semifinals round against their rival, the Las Vegas Aces. Liberty up 2-0 out of the best of five in a round two semifinal series against the Aces. This series is very reminiscent of the old Indiana Pacers Knicks rival that they've had, and that the intensity and the way these teams are playing, the fact that off the court they're cool, but when they're on the court, both of these teams don't like each other. But I find the most interesting fact out of it all is the fact that Becky Hammond said it. They haven't won in Brooklyn. I don't think since I think they've only won in Brooklyn once.
Yeah.
So the Liberty have Vegas number, whether they're in Vegas. The Liberty a very good road team, and then when they're here in and when they're in Brooklyn, and I think that the Liberty, as we both said before this round came about, was that the Liberty needed to start this round with a chip on their shoulder, as they lost to Vegas in the finals last year. Vegas was cheering and celebrating on the Barclays floor, and that stung. And the Liberty have their whole uncut series that they do, which is their version of like a mini behind the scenes documentary, which I think is excellent. It's a great watch. And each of the players have said that it took them a while to get over that. And they're not over it, which I don't blame them. You shouldn't be over it because you allowed Vegas to beat you on your home floor. The Liberty are up 2-0. Game one was Sunday. The Liberty beat Vegas 77-87, beat them by 10. I thought the Liberty came out with high energy. They came out intentional, very little minor mistakes, quick pace, fast pace, ball movement. Vegas wasn't ready. Asia Wilson had a quiet, I don't know if it was 21, 25 points, something to that degree. I don't have the stats pulled up in front of me. Then nonetheless, they didn't have an answer. The only person that was really playing well in round the first game was Kelsey Plum. For some reason, she was just driving to the basket, having her way. We weren't able to guard her. Then we flash forward to game two, which was Tuesday. The Liberty won 84-88. Now, that game was a little closer. I guess you could say they had a little bit more help. Aces. Tiffany Hayes had 10 points. Chelsea Gray had 14 points. Kelsey Plum only had 6 points because she got in foul trouble so early. Alicia Clark helped them out, especially at the start of the first quarter. She was knocking down threes. She had 13 points. Jackie Young finished with 17, and Asia Wilson had a quiet 24. Now, I will say Asia Wilson is a really good player, but I think one thing that I've seen on a defensive end from Jonquel Jones is that she's playing really good defense against Asia Wilson. It's just better offense, but she's playing really good defense. Give me your takes just from seeing the first two games and what you've seen, you've liked, maybe some things that the Liberty need to look out for. But what are some standouts for you from the first two games against Vegas?
Well, number one is their defense.
Yeah.
Like their defense, I mean, it has to be top tier because of what it's the ability of what they're able to do by playing like that smothering defense. Um, Smart move was Sandy Brondello to start Leone. Um, because that gives them size, depth. She's a wing. She's able to guard, multiple positions. It ain't she's contributing. So she's like a, that two-way player that that they need.
Right.
And they were missing by just starting her. That was just like a brilliant move on her part. Um, but just like I mean, what really stands out is like their defense. Like you said, game, one, you know, the Liberty, they pretty much have the aces, number. Like, and this is why they are successful, by beating them. And it is a chip on their shoulder, and rightfully so it should be. So they say, well, this is what we need to do if we're gonna get to that finals. So,
Hmm.
and they know defense is key
Right.
because and they feed off of that their star player in that one game. They like you said was a quiet. I think she had like 21, but she wasn't able to. They made it tough on her.
Yeah.
She wasn't able to score at will. And it wasn't easy for her. So they made her earn those points. Yeah. Kelsey had like 24. Um, you know, but they were able to hone in that for game two. So they locked her down. But just the sharing of the ball, they were able, Jay, great contribution. So defense was key for me. That's one of the main things. And that's why they're 2-0 now. Um, and if they could just mirror that, if they could do game three like they did game one, the Aces won't stand a chance, and they could just go home, rest, still maintain home court advantage, and just rest up and just wait for that their opponent for the most part. But game two, Laney, she was just able to like her guard in Chelsea, where Chelsea wasn't able to do Chelsea things.
Right.
She limited her shots. Um, she was stellar and Sloop that block man she did on Jackie. So again, their defense is key, and if they could just continue that, they're there.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think for game three, if the Liberty can come out and play like they did in game one with the contributions of Courtney Vandersloot, because in game one, I felt like she was giving me Josh Hart vibes with that
She,
indecisiveness. She didn't want to like shoot when she was getting the ball and she was
Mhm.
wide open. And most teams, if not all teams in the WNBA, they're going to allow Courtney Vandersloot to shoot the three because they're not going to respect her shooting that three. I think also the issue with Vegas was that they slept on Courtney and didn't think she was going to come out as aggressive and thought she was just going to come down, bring the ball up, throw her passes to get her assist, and that's that. But like Chelsea Gray, like Alicia Clark, who are champions from other teams and they won championships with other teams, Courtney Vandersloot has also won a championship with Chicago. So she knows what it takes to get there. And she has that veteran experience being in the
Yeah,
league so many years under her belt. So for me, she was a huge adjustment from game one because game one, she was a little indecisive. She was just more looking to pass. And I was like, all right, even if you're not going to shoot the three, you can at least, look to drive, get fouled while trying. You know what I mean? Even if she did get blocked, I would have still liked to see the effort and the fact that she was doing that. Because again, Vegas wasn't expecting Courtney Vandersloot to drive to that basket in game two. She took advantage. And I think what Vegas went wrong and Becky was pissed off was that they was allowing too many easy layups
yeah,
by the New York Liberty. There was too many easy layups, too many easy baskets. Vegas was caught sleeping. The defensive, they got out rebounded with the offensive board. The Liberty were able to get second, third chance opportunities because Vegas just the effort wasn't there. Now I do know they said Jackie Young is dealing with an injury, so she hasn't been right since the Olympics.
Olympics. Hmm.
This was actually her better game in a while, even before the playoffs, because she's been kind of like, because of her injury, she has been able to play to her best. But I remember you saying this, that Vegas really only has Asia Wilson, and it's no disrespect to the other ladies, but Asia's just a walking bucket. And I think sometimes when you watch, no matter what sport it is, you know what player of an opposing team is good. But it's not until you may play them in a playoff series or they come on your team and you're like, wow, they're good. And watching her again, I don't think I gave her enough respect of her game last year because it was so intense. I feel like it happened too fast. The Liberty made it, and it was just, it was foggy for me. I can't even give a good analysis because it was foggy. But man, I'm watching Asia. And again, I've been watching Asia this whole season. I haven't been just watching her or paying attention in the playoffs, but I'm like, Asia is that girl. Because John Quell Jones is playing defense. And I have to give it to John Quell. And don't make me go fall back on this, John Quell. She's playing good defense against Asia. She's challenging her. She's making it hard for her. She's not just because Asia's also a beast when she grabbing rebounds. She's so tall. She's just grabbing it and doing this. And I'm like, damn, nobody couldn't even tip it if they wanted to because the way she just grabs the rebound and she just plays with such a force,
Yeah.
about her game. It's this like, it's very it's organized chaos because it could be chaotic at times, but it's just very organized. She's tough. She drives to the basket intentional and she knows what she wants to do. She has so many moves under her belt. Um, but Vegas seems like that's all they really have. And she's their leader, even though, yes, they need Chelsea Gray as the point guard to facilitate, direct. Notice she has been making them fancy schmancy passes because but Nigel Laney, to your point, her defense is so, it doesn't matter if she's guarding Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young, but Nigel Laney's defense, like seriously, I'm not sure why she's not being up for Defensive Player of the Year awards. Yeah, she was out for a little bit, but the way she's playing is like she didn't have a knee surgery.
And
She's able,
she didn't miss a beat.
right. It looks like she hasn't missed a beat. And it's just, I think Lainey, like Sabrina, like Courtney, like Brianna, like Jonquel, Lainey is like tunnel vision. She's really locked in. If you notice, it's not too much celebrating and cheering from her because it's like she has one of those harder jobs. Not that everybody else doesn't, but she has a hard job in that Sandy has her doing a full court press. So she's guarding whoever's bringing up the ball, whether that's Chelsea, whether that's Jackie at times, and she's doing everything in her willpower because I think everyone on the Liberty realized, yo, we didn't play to our best of our ability last year. But just the way her defensive presence has been, that Chelsea Gray hasn't even been able to have her way this series. I'm not seeing her throw the ball behind her back.
Mhm.
And listen, I don't want to see them go to Vegas tomorrow, and I don't want to see her throwing it between somebody's legs and like she's a Harlem Globetrotter. I don't want to see it because don't let up. And let me tell you, the other person that's making sure this is not happening. Even though she didn't only have 15 points in game two, Brianna Stewart don't need to give you 25 plus points a game. She's checking everybody, and that's what a leader, a champion, knows what to do. When they have her mic'd up and they was replaying her mic'd up and what she was saying, she was like, tighten up. Y'all loosening up. She was like, tighten up. Y'all getting real loose. And Sabrina was like, tighten up. Like, yeah. Stewie is locked in tunnel vision. And I think it's also because the point I was just making, Stewie knows she didn't have a good finals last year. She did
Absolutely.
not play well. Now, game two, I will say Stewie was shooting that three ball a little too much. Hasn't been your friend this year. But overall, I just like that the Liberty have this like, and I don't even think it's just a tunnel vision just to beat Vegas. I think it's like, yo, we want to win the championship. It's not just to beat Vegas. Like this is like the first hard part. The next one is the second hard part. Now Connecticut and Minnesota, that's a whole, we're gonna see what happens on Friday, and who takes that game. Because to me it can go either way. I'm not gonna fully say, oh yeah, it's gonna be Minnesota. Connecticut is very worthy of beating them, as you have alluded to me. And you said, yo, Connecticut could beat Minnesota, which is very true.
Yeah,
So I think with this Liberty team, the way they're locked in, the way their intensity is, the way they're talking to each other. Do you hear them talking to each other when they're on defense? I hear everybody talking. The adjustment you said of having Fevish in. I don't know if Vegas thought that maybe Sandy was only using that for the first round. No, we're using
yeah,
that for the round until we win the championship.
exactly.
Because, and you know what I love about Courtney Vandersloot? She's been asked this at least twice. I've seen it. It could have been three times already. That reporters have asked her, well, how do you feel about coming off the bench? And she said, I'm going to do whatever's necessary. And I know
Exactly.
my role. She said, does it make a difference? I still have to go out there and perform. Why do you think it's about the betterment of the team?
Yeah, you got to put those Eagles, check those Eagles in the locker, leave them in the locker room. You don't
Right,
need them on the court. Like
right,
they asked that most asinine question, and even if the player did feel some type of way, do you think they're gonna actually sit back and like, oh well, I don't like to come off the bench. I want to start. Like, but these are professionals. If you want to get to that next level, and the goal is to hoist that championship on your home floor, preferably, that's
right.
the ultimate goal.
Mhm.
Players, yeah, they do it for the money and the love of it, but somehow, and it's I don't want to say that solidifies your career, but this is what you do it for,
The
amongst
championship.
like your family and your the passion and the love of it. But no player's not gonna say, well, yeah, I do want to start. No, you check those Eagles, leave them in the locker. It's for the betterment of the team. Sometimes you have to sacrifice that starting role, and it's
Right.
okay. They ask the
Exactly.
most asinine questions.
Yeah, and I'm just like, again, this Liberty team, the entire season, every, I saw someone else mention, oh, I'm surprised. I don't know if it was Trinae and Andrea when they were on ESPN and they were talking about the recap of the game, and someone said, I'm surprised Sandy didn't play Niara Sabali. Listen, Sandy's gonna go with whatever adjustment she feel like she need to make for the game. And as
Exactly.
a coach, coaches do that. It's not to knock Nia. She can come in and play, but Jonquel is a better fit against Asia. She's a
Amen.
better fit down low and playing against them. The other player for me that really stood out was Kayla Thornton in game two.
Oh man.
Came in the second quarter. Another player Vegas slept on. They thought she was a decoy to just come out there and get a couple of rebounds, pass the ball. She was aggressive. She was driving to the basket, making easy layups, getting elbowed in a stomach on the way to a layup, and just the toughness, the aggressiveness of her play, I was very impressed by. And KT has her three has been off, but the fact that she came out there and technically she only got more minutes because Kennedy Burke has an injury. We don't know what the injury is yet.
Yeah.
I hope she's okay because Kennedy Burke may has to work on her three. We've discussed this, but she does a lot of other intangibles that may not show up on the stat sheet. She's
Yeah.
so tall. I believe she's 6'5". She has this like crazy instincts when she's guarding whoever at the top of the key. And she I've seen her do it countless times season where she just puts her hands up. She's able to grab the ball that's supposed to be a pass. And next thing you know, she's heading down the other end of the floor, and then she throws a nice bounce pass to whoever's meeting her at the other end. But she does a lot of those little, or she has those quick hands like a OG Ananobi, where she's able to slip her hand in between the passing lane and she's able to get us a quick steal. So I really hope that she's okay. It is not a major injury because the Liberty will need her, um, throughout this playoffs and for the finals. But overall, I have to say, I didn't like how game two was close. I didn't like how I was stressed at the end of the game. I don't like that. I don't like to be like that. We got to deal with that with the Knicks a lot of times where the games are close. My nerves are rattled. I'm frazzled. I'm in here like I'm betting money on a game. I just don't like it. Like, don't do that to me. Yeah, it makes for an exciting game sometimes, right? But I need you to be up by at least 8 to 10 points because the way Vegas passed Asia the ball at the end of the game, because it was a tight game. Asia knocks down the basket. We go down. It was 11 point something seconds. They go down. Then next thing you know it, Asia get the ball again. I said, what is going on? Y'all not about to throw this one away and make it 1-1. We're not about to do that. We didn't get home court advantage for no reason.
Yeah, yeah.
To the Liberty for being able to win both games at home. I thought that was very vital and crucial for them to win both games at Barclays. Who and what will it take for the Liberty to win game three? Is it any
Mm,
particular players who you think that, you know, if she gives us such and such, we have a better chance of winning? Like, is there any particular player or players, or collectively, what do you feel like the Liberty need to do to win game three?
well, definitely, I love that lineup, that starting lineup for sure. I think you run with that, and I can't say individual player. I think it's more collective on their part. Just everybody's making a contribution, which is great. That's what you want. That's what you need, and to get you that 3-0. So collectively, for me, I don't think it's any one individual like player, um, but just overall, um, you know, Becky, she's sour right about now, and she she know that there's a lot at stake. If the Aces want to definitely take Game 3, but for me, there's some things that they're gonna definitely have to hone in on. Again, their defense is top tier. They caused them 12 turnovers,
Yeah,
and that turned into points. So if they can, definitely, continue that defensive intensity, um, because it now, of course, it's them, Vegas, they get rattled. So, now they have to go on, offense and try to, score and stuff like that. So defensively, they have to definitely keep that intensity up. Um, you know, not letting them get, don't allow the Aces, to get the matchup that they want because, they tried it in game two.
yeah,
The Liberty were able to, outsmart them and, again, you know, they were, again, they were able to impose their will and play their style, which is great. Um, they can't, we know Asia, like you said, she's a beast, so she's definitely gonna, score hers. But I think it's vital that they can definitely contain her as much as they can. Um, the doubling, I don't know. I don't. To me, I don't know if that's exactly necessary because they didn't do it as much as in game two. They did it, but it wasn't as much. I think they definitely have to watch that perimeter because like they started Clark and she was an X factor for them. So
hmm,
they kind of with more so with offense with Clark over Stokes. So
yeah,
that was a smart move on their part, and I guess they figure they have to match the Liberty with height because they do have an advantage over them. They definitely have to keep pushing the pace. These are the things that's gonna get them there. Um, we keep running out in transition. They were great in that. So there's a few things that that they have to do. Um, you know, Phoebish, she was great. I love her defensive intensity. John Quell, she didn't get her double double, but hopefully she'll get it Friday. So but we know she's capable of doing that. Um, Yeah, there's some few other things like what is it for you? Is there an individual player or How do you feel about
Well,
some?
I think player wise, I think Jonquel Jones, yes, she needs to get a double double.
Yeah, 50%.
When she gets a double double, the Liberty have a higher chance of winning. I think the Liberty need to, exactly as you said, impose their will. The Liberty need to make sure that they compete from the jump ball, make sure that they have a lead at the halftime. Um, and I think that, speaking on the double team, and I actually think it was up for me. I noticed that the Liberty were double teaming more in the second game than they were in the first game. They were doubling in the first game, but it wasn't as much. It was like a semi double, and then they were backing off. To me, in game two, the Liberty were doubling, and it was hurting them because Asia, whoever was kicking the ball out, and I'm like, you need to stop doing that because that's how they were able to begin of the game 14-16. The game was back and forth because there was a lot of like double teaming. And then what was happening was when the Liberty were doubling at times, Vegas was moving the ball around the perimeter, and there was always that one player that was open, and the
Yep.
Liberty were trying to scramble to figure out, well, whose man is that? And I'm like, that Sandy, nip it, nip it, because I noticed the Liberty got a little frazzled a few possessions where they were trying to run around to figure out, rather when they were just sticking man to man, the communication, the talking was there. Yo, I got him. Yo, she's coming over. I was hearing that as they were playing, but when you're doing that double teaming, it hurts you as a team in a game of basketball. Sometimes I think you can come up, but if you can't recover and get your man that's maybe behind you or who's sneaking right behind underneath the basket to get the ball, or whoever's at the shortest point of the 3 point line, that hurts you. Now they're open, and that's where Alicia Clark was living at that end
Yeah.
point of the 3 point, that shortest point of the 3 point line, and she was ready to knock down those shots. Vegas was trying to keep up with scoring. Kia Stokes can't score. She's just a tall body out there to get you rebounds, and she really can't even do that against Jonquel. Um, but I think with a Liberty, they need Jonquel to do her thing and score. You need Brianna Stewart. I thought at one point in the game, like in the fourth quarter, I thought Brianna Stewart should have been a little bit more aggressive, and we needed her to get a little bit more involved offensively. So I think it's pivotal that those two are involved. And I think also what's been hurting Vegas so far, competing against the Liberty, despite the obvious, is that the Liberties had a little bit of everybody getting involved,
Hmm.
adding something to get us that win, versus it just being Brianna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu,
Yeah.
or Sabrina and Jonquel. When it's just two people, you're not going to win. And this is what we were asking for. If you have Lainey, you have Courtney, you have Phoebish, you have KT, if everybody's contributing and giving you a little bit of points and giving you something on defense, you have a better opportunity and chance of beating the Las Vegas Aces. And I think one thing the Liberty have to do, they have to keep attacking the basket. You got to get them in foul trouble. The Liberties did an excellent job in that the first two games, especially game two. They were driving to the basket. This is why Kelsey had to sit on the bench. She was getting cursed out by Becky Hammond because Becky couldn't understand. Becky couldn't understand why she kept fouling. Here's the thing: the Liberty are going to go to Vegas. The refs are going to have a friendlier whistle for Vegas because they
Yep.
don't want them to lose this game. So the Liberty have to make sure that they don't complain, Jonquel Jones. You're not complaining that they're pulling your jersey or they're knocking you down. They're going to do that. They're going to play dirty. They're going to, you know what I mean? They're going to come out really aggressive, but you have to match that intensity and come out even more aggressive and want it more and just knock the season out. Sabrina, I'm loving what I'm seeing from Sabrina. And you know why Sabrina's a threat this year? Because she's not relying on that three. She's like, listen, yeah, I can shoot the three, but look what else I can do. And Rebecca Lobo, who's been calling the games, she made a good point. She said Vegas is so concerned with Sabrina shooting the three that she just driving to the basket. Because a few times the lane was open, the same way it was in round one against Atlanta.
Mhm.
They're so concerned and so used to her shooting the three. She does a beautiful hesitation. She does it so well. And then she's able to get the midi, the little nice midi range, as Chene
Yeah,
and Bouquet call it, or she drives to the basket, or she's able to get her passing off. And I also love the patience by her. I think there was one mistake that she made where I think she was going to pass it to Stewie in game two, but Stewie was cutting. And this happened in round one. I don't know if it was with Sabrina. It could have been, but this happened in game one as well. But I love the patience by Sabrina and that she's not so quick to dump the ball off and I'm going to pass it. I'm not stopping my dribble early. Courtney has to stop doing that. She's stopping her dribble a little too early sometimes on certain possessions. You got to stop stopping your dribble so early until you know what decision you want to make. I was also happy to see that John Paul wasn't shooting a lot of threes. Don't go to Vegas and start thinking you are gonna cash out and get a lucky number 7 and you're just gonna shoot threes all freaking night because it's 9:30 at night over here and it's whatever time it is there. Don't do that. If the Liberty settle for the threes tomorrow, they're not gonna win. Even if you're making them, I don't want to see you just so comfortable shooting the threes all night. It's a dangerous thing when a team like the Liberty, who are a great 3-point shooting team, can knock them down, yes. But I don't think you should rely on that the whole game. I think you got to give them a little bit of everything. Give them
yeah.
everything under what's considered Liberty basketball to help you win. So I think, yes, to your point, is defense. I think that the Liberty have to play with high intensity and quick, not half court basketball. You don't want Vegas limiting you to a half court game. I think the Liberty have to be intentional about who they're passing to and where they're passing it to. Because I remember in game two, I think it was, I don't know, I don't remember if it was Sabrina. She, no, Courtney.
And she threw it to John Quell, and
Why? Why are you doing that?
it was that play, and it was also another play where, like, and that's it. They have to watch on and on the weak side, defense, because if John Quell's down low, and you throwing it, but the weak side, like, watch that, because that's what Vegas is doing, you know.
Exactly.
So
Be
that,
smarter about the decisions. The
yeah,
basketball IQ has to be there. This is, are you trying to win a championship or not?
yeah,
You
yeah,
cannot make that pass. Now, I have to give it to them. They've done a great job so far because the Liberty have a horrible, bad habit of forcing the pass in the paint when who they're trying to pass it to has two, three people on them. Why are you doing that?
yeah,
The
yeah.
pass doesn't exist. You can't throw the pass in the paint. And John Cole got two people on the left and right of her. I don't care if she's trying to position herself. She's not going to get it.
Hmm.
So, and this is not even just Courtney. Benija Laney, Sabrina. I don't care if you're throwing it to Stewie and her wingspan is 7'2", whatever it is. And Stewie's pretty good at catching it because unlike Jonquel, she can jump, whereas Jonquel don't really leave her feet as high. She likes to
Hmm.
reach for the ball instead of just jumping to help her grab the ball if it's a little too high. Brianna Stewart will be running so freaking fast up the court. And I'm looking like, damn, whoever's throwing that pass, I'm thinking to myself, it's about to go out of bounds. She will grab the ball that's literally under the basket. She will grab it, take her arm, and go around and reverse layup at full speed.
Yeah,
And I'm like, did she just do that? I mean, first of all, she practices that. So that's like a cakewalk for her. I'm comfortable when she does that. I'm not like, oh gosh, why is she doing that? I'm like, because she's under control. She's not throwing it hard off the backboard. It's very smooth. She's using her fingertips. She's just laying it up. But when you start making mistakes like that, you're not going to win. Also, I don't want the Liberty to have Vegas do to them what the Liberty have been doing to Vegas, and that we've caused, as part of those 12 turnovers with Vegas, the Liberty's defense was so good that they got so many shot clock violations because they had nowhere to go. Because the Liberty had that smothering defense on them that they didn't know which route to go. Like, I don't know where to pass. Where do I pass it to? So I think that is so key for the Liberty to play their style, play their game. They have to play fast, and they have to watch out with Vegas for Tiffany Hayes, for Chelsea Gray, Kelsey Plum, Asia shooting the threes, Alicia Clark shooting the threes. Because once they get fired up, it's hard for them to miss. So you can't allow them to shoot the threes. You can't allow Gray to start doing them circus Harlem Globetrotter passes and people just watching. You can't slip and say, well, we'll let them take one game. You comfortable for what reason? Why? Just end it so you can rest and play whoever wins between Connecticut and Minnesota.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the Liberty are definitely more than capable, as again, Vegas has yet to beat them throughout the regular season. They've only won in Brooklyn once. So take advantage. They're rattled. They have pressure on them to win because they're so focused on three-peating. And Becky said, oh, I think people were jealous because my players were in commercials. Girl, nobody was caring
Yeah,
about that.
yeah. That's how I was gonna ask you. Like, what is she talking? She talking about
Nobody
this
didn't care about that.
girl? Bye. Talking about yeah.
Nobody was caring that them
The
girls was in
whole
commercials.
she said the whole league is pissed off. This is what she said, quote unquote. The whole league has been pissed off for the last 8 months. My players are in commercials and this and that, and being celebrities. There's other people in commercials too, and you get distracted. Well, that's on your players. That's the so
Exactly.
your players are distracted. You must be
Exactly.
referring to your players because nobody else is distracted. So that's why it's hard. Human nature is distracting. Well, you know what? Then that's on you and your players. But as far as pissed off, there's other Sabrina's in commercials. What is she? She's in a commercial with your players. So what is that? But yeah, she's a whiner anyway. So we're not gonna put
Yeah.
stop and
I mean,
wait
she
for that.
she she did keep it real in that she said the Liberty almost had it. They thought they had it last year, but she said they've
Yeah.
gotten better,
Oh
and
yeah,
which
for sure.
they
Yeah.
have. And I've heard Queen say this, and it stuck with me. It takes time for championships teams to win their championship,
Yeah. Yeah.
to win the finals. And I think with the Liberty, for one, they're one of three because there's three franchises in the WNBA that have yet to win a championship. The New York Liberty are one of them. And I think that the Liberty, they built this super team for a reason. They brought in Sandy Brondello here for a reason. And clearly it's working. So far, what they've been doing under Sandy Brondello, it's been working. And they've gotten better. They gel, they make very minor critiques in the roster. And they're right there. They will be the only ones holding themselves back. So the Liberty have to, like you said, keep imposing their will. My thing is just get past this round so you can regroup, clear your head, and be ready for whoever you're facing in that finals round. Because to be honest, between the next two teams, Connecticut and Minnesota and Connecticut plays amazing defense. The last matchup that we played against Connecticut came out at halftime and turned up the defense to 1,000, and the Liberty had nowhere to go. And that's one of the things that the Liberty have to be careful for when they go into tomorrow's game. You know what I mean? Like, Vegas has pressure. Their backs are against the wall. They're trying to win. The refs are going to give them every little call. So you got to expect these things. And I'm sure Sandy's going to say these things to them. And the other assistant coaches have been saying these things to them. But it's like, go out there with heart, Go out there with pride, go out there with confidence, be intentional about the way you're playing, stay locked in, stay focused. As I always comment under their posts, stay focused, ladies, because it's true. It's not over. And hell, Sabrina already said it. We ain't do nothing yet. Because
Yeah,
you did,
yep, we only won 2 games. We haven't won nothing.
you ain't do nothing. You ain't even win a championship.
Yeah, and then you know, although the Liberty are 2-0, it's and we know, of course, the Vegas, their backs is up against the wall, and they are the reigning champions. And even Chelsea Gray said, she says, I love being in the history books, so might as well
But
try and start here. So like she said, you got to play the full 40. You can't just have laps and you know your defense. You got to play a full 40. It just can't be spurts. So when they go on a run, no, they have to be locking. So now in return, same thing with the Liberty. The Liberty have to be locking because we know the Aces, their back is up against the wall. They don't want to go out like that. Their mentality is they are the, and which is true, they are the reigning champions. So they have, now see like to me like they have a chip on their shoulder because they don't want to go out like that.
yeah, they
Uh,
don't want to get swept. And then they don't want to get swept. They don't want to get swept out of Liberty. They don't want
exactly.
to lose back at home. And then there's that reigning pressure, like you said, on them. And this is what we didn't want to happen with the Liberty, where they would have lost at hypothetically the first two games, and now you got pressure on you because it's the best out of five.
Yeah,
But I don't care about all of that with Vegas. I want the Liberty to just end it. A lot of people are predicting that Vegas will take tomorrow's game, but I'm not counting my Liberty out. And honestly, to piggyback off of what you're saying, I think Vegas is going to try to even it up and take the next two games
oh for
and bring it
sure.
to a game five because I see a lot of Aces fans saying, oh, it's going to go to a game five. No, we're not allowing that to happen.
A- and the reason why I don't think, and I'm not even gonna say think, I know it's not gonna go to a game 5. The all teams they grow and that's what they're supposed to do. But just watching from last year to this year, the maturity of the Liberty,
Yeah.
like how they are, they're a different team from last season, and rightfully so. You know, their composure, like they don't get rattled. Like you could, I mean, and I hate to be sound cocky, but that's why they're the number one seed because the growth that they've gone through,
Mhm.
from just not winning to this year, um, and kudos to Sandy, like we always say like how she's able to she don't let the game slip away from them too far. She calls those timeouts, and 9 times out of 10 it results in a basket. It's not a waste of possession. It
Yeah.
sometimes it does happen, and because they're imperfect, so it may be a waste of possession, but you best believe 9 times out of 10 they will
They're going
convert.
to
They
score.
will exactly. They're gonna score. So just their defense, they took it up a notch. Just being able again to stay, poised and not get rattled, and just what they've been able to do, like they're in sync, they gel, they're locked in. So that's why I don't believe that it's gonna go to a game 5. And you know, if you watch, that series, a lot of them said they didn't even watch that last game.
Yeah.
So it's like you
The
don't want that to weigh you down. That's being the back of your psyche. So it's like we're starting new. So I don't even want to watch that. That's not going to fuel me. Some people it may, but for them it don't. And so they they like we gotta handle business. So that's why I don't believe it is gonna go to a game 5 because of what they've gone through, the growth that they've gone through over this last 8 months or so. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see this. this series against Aces, the Vegas Aces going to a game 5. I just I don't see it going there. The both of these teams, they're this is to me a great series to watch.
Oh, for
For
sure.
WNBA fans of other teams, new WNBA fans, because this is literally it's a great rival. And it's just good basketball to watch. I mean, game 2 has so many celebrities there, from Carmelo Anthony, Alicia Keys. Who else was there? I saw Gail King was there.
Robin Roberts was
Yeah,
there.
yeah, there was a lot of celebs there that you see a lot of Jason Sudeikis, who's like a huge Liberty fan. He's literally at every home game.
Oh yeah.
So, Spike Lee didn't get to go to that game, but best believe he'll be at the finals game when they back in
Oh
Brooklyn.
yeah. Now you
He'll
know he
definitely be
will.
there. So, and that's fine, because I remember last year all the celebrities were going to Vegas games. I was like, wow. They was showing up before the start of the game. They was dapping up Asia, giving her a hug, taking a selfie with her. And I was like, that's all well and good, but put some respect on the Liberty's name. And the Liberty, like the New York Knicks, will not get the respect that they deserve. Sure, a lot of the sports media and content creators and other players throughout the league will say the Liberty are a really good team, but the Liberty will not be respected to the level that they should be respected until they win a championship.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Period. Like, until they win a championship, they're going to be known as, oh, they fell short. Oh, Teaspoon was there too, the
Mm,
legendary Teaspoon. And it was nice to see her there.
yeah,
See
for
her
sure.
be supporting these ladies, and I'm sure she'll be at one of the finals games as well. Sue Wick was there too. I saw her standing up every couple of
Oh,
plays. She was standing up cheering. Yeah, so
Suet.
yeah.
Wow.
And then Sue Bird and Megan Rapinoe was there as well, because Sue Bird is a huge Liberty fan. She's always at the games. But I just think that the Liberty, don't get too high, don't get too low for tomorrow. Play your style, play your game, and
Yeah.
it's for the taking. It'll make it even sweeter for the Liberty, not just to beat Vegas, but to sweep them. Because a lot of people have it, and they had it with Vegas beating the Liberty.
Oh
They,
yeah, for sure.
because one of the things you and I spoke about was that the Liberty tend to choke in some instances in games that matter, the important games. But I just need the Liberty to keep the same energy they've had since round 1 of the playoffs. Continue it as they have in this game. Don't let up in tomorrow's game. And this way you could rest and wait out whoever's going to do what. I mean, clearly Connecticut and Minnesota's playing before the Liberty game, so they'll be playing at 7:30, and then we'll see what happens with that game. But nonetheless, I want to see the Liberty come out and let the Aces know, just because you're home and you have your crowd behind you, it means nothing. We're still the better team.
Exactly. And they say, any team or typically when or if there's any consolation, they say teams that are 2-0 have a greater chance of winning the series. It's like 18-0. That's what they say. You can't take Vegas like
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
you can't bank on that. It's still possession and possession. Block that out. And just play your game, your style. You can't go on what is the naysays or those who are betting against or for you, the odds and this and that, the third. Just play again. Don't take Vegas lightly. They're gonna definitely go on their runs. Uh, they do have a chip on your shoulder just as well as y'all do.
Right.
They don't want to get swept. They're at home. They're gonna have their crowd behind them, just like how you're at home. Um, so
And they're going to turn up their defense too. So the
oh
Liberty have to be prepared for that, where they're going to be smothering them. And the Liberty just have to play smart, play
yeah,
harder, play smart. Don't allow them to make you play just a half court game only where you can't even get any runs and fast break points down the court. Shout out to Immortal Cuts. He said Plum can heat up though. She can.
Oh yeah.
But I think that, like I said earlier, the Liberty have to do a good job at attacking the paint. Because if you can get Jackie Young, Plum, Kelsey, Asia, you got to allow them to start getting one, two, maybe three fouls by halftime. But if no one really has fouls and you're not attacking, and it can't just be Brianna Stewart attacking because Stewie's gonna get the foul. She does that very well with the way she plays. So, but yeah, Plum, you have to watch out for her because once she start knocking down them threes and then she starts driving, I think it's also important too that we don't get caught with Courtney Vandersloot trying to guard Plum. It has to be Phoebish, but Phoebish has to make sure she doesn't get in foul trouble because
Hmm.
Plum drives and she does these quick, fast moves and of course, the whistle is going to be in favor of the Aces, and we can't afford to have Thiebish, Jonquel, anyone getting in early foul trouble. But they have to watch out for her. Said Lainey acting like it's cuffing season. She is. She out there bowling. Shout out to Space Ghost. He said, love the grittiness of Jonquel. Yeah, Jonquel is tough. She's very strong too. At one point, I remember she grabbed a rebound and Jackie Young had her hands on the ball and someone
Oh
else
yeah.
just still put it up. And I was just like, that's just strength right there. Strength because she knew she could have thrown it out to, I don't know if it was Courtney or Lainey, but she just was like, nah, I'm going to put it up because I'm right here at the basket. And you know what I noticed is that Vegas can't hold Jonquel. So if the
No.
Liberty is smart, you'll pass it down low to her. My only caveat is that I don't want to see Jonquel get the ball. You know how she loves bending down, and then she tries to kick it out to the corner, and then it gets stolen. Like you said, because the weak side defense is going to be there waiting for her. They're watching film, so they know that that's something that she does. But I think if the Liberty continue to play smart, if you give it to Jonquel down in the paint, they don't really have an answer for her besides Asia or Kia Stokes. And then of course you got to watch Chelsea Gray, who can tap the ball away from you. But man, Jonquel is gritty. I also don't want to see her taking a lot of threes. One or two is good, but I don't want to see a lot of them tomorrow. He said, we know one thing is that the Liberty can hit free throws. They can. And especially Sabrina. Sabrina Ionescu can knock down her free throws. I was surprised she missed that one towards the end.
Oh yeah.
But for the most part, Sabrina's like A1 from the free throw line. And so is Brianna Stewart. She can knock them down and clutch under pressure when she needs to. So I think that the free throws are going to be pivotal as well too, because you never know what may happen tomorrow where, at
Yeah.
the end of the night you don't want to look like, damn, if we missed 7, 8 free throws, that could have made a difference. But the Liberty can for sure hit down the knockdown free throws, which is good. Even someone as tall and big as John Paul Niara too can knock down the free throws. So say Asia's no joke. Love her game. Asia's not playing with nobody. That's why she's been coming to the games with sweatpants and a white tee. Cause she's like, we ain't do nothing. When we losing, why am I gonna show up for tunnel fits and we ain't even winning? I don't blame her. Yeah, Brianna was quiet, but the thing is, I think Brianna also does a lot of the other little intangibles. She doesn't
Yeah.
always necessarily have to give you 20, 25, 30 points. She does a lot of the other little things on defense that if a player gets beat, how many times have we seen Stewie? Someone's about to get a layup and she's able to block one handed and she's palming the ball and blocking whoever's about to shoot, or a pass is about to be thrown and she'll intercept and grab the pass. So Stewie does a lot of the other little things that matter and that make a hell of a difference for this Liberty team.
Yeah,
So
and to her question, she had 7 rebounds and 8 assists. So it's the other things that she did. Yeah, she didn't have, she had 15. That was a quiet, but she had 8 assists. So that's nothing. She was being a facilitator.
right.
So
right. And sometimes that works in our favor because a team may think, well, Stewie's gonna always have the ball in her hand. You gotta
exactly.
switch it up. You gotta switch it up so that teams don't think, okay, this is what they're gonna be doing every time down the floor, or this is the bulk of what their game is gonna be. Sabrina is just smooth. Sabrina has completely worked on her game, and I appreciate her for doing that. But she could have came out this season and said, "Oh, I'm gonna keep chucking up threes like I'm Steph Curry." You gotta have something else under your belt besides shooting threes. And this is what I've been saying about Miles McBride. You gotta add some a drive, a stop and pop. You gotta add something besides being a catch and shoot player because then you become predictable. But Sabrina, I mean, the way she's playing in these fourth quarters, clutch,
For sure.
aggressive. She's not settling for shooting a far logo three. We don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that from you. We don't need it from Jonquel. We don't need it from Brianna Stewart either. I don't want to see a bunch of threes tomorrow. Logo threes, half court threes. I don't want to see that. But Sabrina is just locked in because she has the eye of the tiger. She's not getting too high. She's not getting too low. She's allowing the game to come to her. She's not forcing it, which is I'm appreciative of. Because at one point before we got to the playoffs, Sabrina was a little off her shot. But she came into this playoffs and she's just allowing the game to come to her. And that's what Phoebus is doing. I think Phoebus can be a little bit more aggressive with the shots, but I don't want her to force anything. I'd rather her. Phoebus loves playing defense, and her goal is to keep Plum out of her game. So allowing the game to come to you and Brianna do the same thing, but at times we do need Stewie to step up and give us those mid-range shots, you know, to help us out.
Well,
APA.
shout out to Phoebe. She won, or she was on made all rookie team. So shout out to her.
But she should have won sixth man of the year. We know they're gonna give that to Tiffany Hayes, but whatever.
Yeah.
Salute to AP. He said we almost had a cardiac moment in game two. Let's defeat the plans of Vegas. Loving Adam Silver. Yeah, yeah. Cardiac is the right word because the level of stress was just out of control. Salute to Queen Sum Gaming, aka Avatar Queen. Salute to you. Said when's the next match? The next game is tomorrow. I believe it's on ESPN2. Correct me if I'm wrong, Diva. She's gonna look it up to back me up. But yeah, tomorrow's the next game. The Liberty play at 9:30. And if you want to watch a game before that, the Connecticut Sun are gonna be playing the Minnesota Lynx in Connecticut. So that game comes on at 7:30, and then the Liberty and Vegas Aces play right after that at 9:30.
Yeah, correct. It's on ESPN too.
Yep. So check it out. Um, yeah, Brianna's quiet because of Ace's defense. Stupid.
A question for you, right? Because I was just thinking about it. If the game is on the line for the Liberty, who would you like to see take that last shot?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know. I feel like as much as I'm leaning towards Stewie, but I think I'm gonna go Brianna. I mean, that is Stewie. I'm gonna go Sabrina. I'm gonna go Sabrina because she's been clutch with those
Yeah,
mid-range shots. But I think it would be a toss-up between those two to shoot. And I don't even think if we don't need to shoot the three and we just need another bucket or two to give us like the lead to win over the game or tie it up. Yeah, I would say between Brianna Stewart or Sabrina Ionesco because both of them can easily give us that shot that we need.
yes. I say same. I would definitely go with Sabrina. Um, if it's a three, I would go with her.
Sabrina.
Yeah, but I think if it's just, you know, yeah, I'll go with Sabrina.
Yeah. Yeah, because Stewie's three hasn't been the greatest this season.
Yeah,
She can
yeah,
knock it down, but it hasn't been that good. It picked up a little bit after the Olympic break, but if it's a three for sure, I'm gonna go with Sabrina. And if it's a two, it could be Sabrina or
What you
Stu.
going to? So who?
Sabrina. Sabrina. That's what they call her, the Liberty, on their Instagram. They call her Sabrina.
Okay.
So yeah, she definitely could take it in. MBM, salute to you for joining us. That team locked in for tomorrow. The Liberty are definitely locked in. And I agree, they got to stick to the script.
Yep.
Don't steer away from what's been working. Just get better. The goal is to get better throughout these playoffs. Keep getting better each game, and don't lose your momentum. Sabrina's been on a tear, and I love that she's just being patient, allowing the game to come to her, making the right decisions when we need it, and it's been working for us. Salute to Damian Cox. Said, "What are your expectations for Game 3 between the Liberty and the Aces? It's going to be a dogfight, even though Kia Stokes will be out due to concussions protocol, but the Aces have others to help out." Well, salute to you, Damian. Diva Locks and I were talking about what we are expecting for tomorrow. Both of us are expecting excellent Matador defense, a quick, fast pace from the jump ball at the start of the game, the basketball IQ to be there, the ball passing, the ball movement to be there, not coming down the floor and making one pass and we're chucking up a shot, not settling for the three, locking in and talking to each other on the defensive end. And it will be a dogfight. Here's the thing, though, too, and I think the Liberty have to be careful because if Becky decides to go with Megan Gustafson,
Mm. She may
she
go
gonna
pink.
hurt you. She gonna hurt you. She gonna be
Hmm.
shooting them threes from wherever she want. And between her and there's another girl on the Minnesota Lynx, the Liberty never guard them. They watch. Why are you watching her? Guard her. You're watching her shoot these threes, and she's just trotting back because she don't play defense. Megan is not a good defender. She's out there for her threes. So
Exactly.
Becky may, and I'm seeing the Aces fans saying they want to see her come and play. I don't know about Bell, but
What
Gustafson,
about
can come out there and start lighting it up. Her and what's the other, Alicia Clark? They're
yeah?
gonna come out there and be shooting the threes from every which way, and then you're gonna have Kelsey Plum shooting threes. The Liberty have to be careful. They have to guard the 3-point line because Vegas, if they start opening it up with them threes, it's going to be hard because here's what's going to happen. You see how the Liberty were able, for the most part, to maintain the lead throughout the first two games? And even though Vegas was able to get within four, maybe three, two at one point, they still weren't able to get over the hump. And I don't want the Liberty to fall into that problem tomorrow where Vegas, they're keeping it between, they're up by anything between 6 and 10 points, and the Liberty will get as close within 5, 6, but then Vegas come down and score. You don't want to do that. You also don't want to trade baskets. But our expectations are high because the Liberty have made it to the finals last year, so there's no reason why we're going backwards. We're not Dallas, the Wings, where we make the playoffs one year and we revert backwards. We'll be staying tuned to see if that coach has a job as well. It's no shade, but listen, they're on the tear right now, the WNBA. They're firing coaches left and right. Um, so no, I think that the expectations are high. The Liberty have pressure on them too. They may be up 2-0, but there's pressure to win a championship.
Exactly.
There's pressure on them. You can't underperform this season. You can't fall short in this round. You gotta win.
And not just that, you don't want the Aces win two, and now you got to come home, and it's going to be a dogfight. You don't want to come down to that last possession, and take one. Get tomorrow's game, get it over because
Get it over.
you're more than capable of doing it. You know.
No, but it's true. The Vegas Aces haven't had an answer for the Liberty all season. This is a good question. He said, "Hey, doesn't the Liberty Aces series kind of remind you of the Bulls Pistons rivalry?" That's a good one.
Yeah.
I said early at the top of the show, it reminds me of the Knicks Indiana Pacers rivalry.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I mean? And I would say a little bit of like the Knicks Boston as well because it's so intense and just the way they're playing. It's oh my gosh, tomorrow's game is gonna be so intense. I can't even. I can't. But it does. Does it remind you of a specific team rivalry?
Well, definitely the Knicks and the Pacers from back in the day. Yeah, but there's a lot of rivalries that you know you it could remind that it reminds you of. But they have to start their own. They
Yeah.
just and finish them. That's my
Mhm.
thing.
Exactly. No, it definitely reminds me of the Indiana Pacers Knicks rivalry for sure. Especially when Spike was yelling at Kelsey Plum in game one. I was like, there goes Spike. He was triggered. He had flashbacks. NBM said, I believe they have learned from last year that pain was real all year. Yeah, for sure. And that's what Diva Locks is saying. That pain, yeah, the Liberty felt it. I think they were also embarrassed because the
Yeah,
way it went out. Remember that last shot? The possession was awful.
yeah.
It was
Well,
awful. They couldn't get it to who they wanted to. We end up getting it to Courtney Vandersloot. She shoots an air ball. The Liberty was so stunned. They weren't even walking to the locker room because Stewie had her hands like on her hips because they
yeah.
couldn't believe that they lost.
Well, like this, like they even said, they never watched that last game. Because it hurts. It's painful.
Hmm.
So and this is where we're at.
And the Liberty have New York fans behind them. Like I see so many people who've never been to a WNBA game posting on Instagram, posting on TikTok, posting on YouTube, going to their first game. And I see people their first game is a
What
playoff game. And people are like, yo, I had so much fun. And they're panning the camera when they do the wave, the Ellie wave. I'm
see,
mad we didn't get a towel for the Ellie wave, but
and that's what
well,
I was going to say. Wait, now, the limited, we know that's our team, but come on, you got to give Big Ellie some credit now.
oh, for sure. Ellie is the reason why a lot of people go to the games, for sure. Um, but I mean, the intensity, the energy in that building is like no other. And I keep encouraging and recommending all of you, including the replay gang, those of you in the chat, you got to get to a game at Barclays. You can go to games at other arenas. It's not the same. And I'm not saying that just because I'm a Liberty fan. We watch other games in the WNBA. It's not the same kind of crowd. It's not the same intensity. It's not that New York energy, the New York vibes, the New Yorkers wanting to curse and we're mad and we're so dramatic about every little thing. Remember when Asia did that nice move in game two and you heard the crowd? Woo!
Oh
Everybody
yeah,
was so impressed. Because every little thing we're watching, we paying attention as New Yorkers to the game. But man, the Liberty, this is their year. Just get past this round. I don't want to go too ahead. Get past this round, win tomorrow's game, and then we'll worry about who we facing in the finals, which is still going to be a hell of a round.
continue to be disruptive. That's all.
Right. There you go. Exactly. Damien said, tomorrow's game is very important. So just like you said, the Liberty should be focused and composed. Composed is very key. In other words, they must have a good start in order to have a good finish. Absolutely. Agree 100%. That's what it takes. Focus, composure, knowing that you're the better team, that you can beat them, having confidence throughout the entire game, being resilient, staying persistent throughout the game, starting strong, coming into the third quarter strong, and having a strong fourth quarter, which, by the way, the Liberty, I believe, are the number one team, not just in fourth quarter points, but they're a great fourth quarter team and that they close out games very well in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, yeah.
So, listen, it's theirs for the taking, but we'll see. We'll be back on Sunday to recap Friday's game, which is I can't wait to even talk about it. I'll be watching tomorrow's game. I'm so excited. This has been a great series so far, very entertaining. I love when a playoff series is entertaining. Do you know how you watch some playoff games and they're a little boring? This is not no way, shape, or fashion boring. It kind of reminds me of the Knicks first round against Philly last year.
Oh yeah.
Entertaining, exciting. This is giving me the same kind of vibes. So yeah, catch us on Sunday morning at 11. We'll be recapping the Liberties win You got the, I know I already know you got the Liberty win because you are
Oh, for
very
sure.
great point. Immortal Cuts. The Liberty are 27-0 when leading at the half. They are. They are. And also, I want Sandy to be move out of third place for most playoff wins for a
Hmm.
coach to at least second place, which she can totally do. So she'll be able to move into that second place. So yeah,
Yeah.
they listen, Damien. This is what we want them to do. I want them to win so bad. I'm ready to go to the parade.
But
If the
she'll be
Liberty win, Brooklyn is gonna be insane. It's gonna be crazy. But the Liberty can do it. I think the Liberty need to do it also because it'll be a nice kickoff with them winning the championship, and now you got like the Knicks to be able to like take over and
Yep.
win that championship. So I need the Liberty to do it this year. They can do it. I'm feeling very confident and strong about them doing it. I want them to get past Aces, which they will, and really their only threat is Minnesota. They're the harder team to beat. Connecticut is tough because they play excellent defense, but Minnesota, we haven't had an answer for them all season. So we have to dig deep on that one and figure out how to beat them. But yeah, that's the goal for the Liberty to win the championship. But salute to everybody in the chat for joining us. Appreciate you guys for joining us this evening. Immortal Cuts, Space Ghost, Queen Some Gaming, aka Avatar Queen. Salute to you. MBM for joining us. AP as well, always joining us when we talk about the New York Liberty. If you guys can, we encourage you to watch tomorrow's game at 9:30 on ESPN2. Check us out on Sunday mornings. We're on at 11. We're live. We're going to get off now because I know Steph is on for Dope Soul Sports Talk. So we'll be checking them out next. They should be on if they're not on now. Are they on?
Yeah, she should be. She said 9 o'clock. I need to check if
No,
I
I
can.
know, but she doesn't normally start at 9. She usually starts around like 9:15. So I don't know if she's live right now. But yeah, go over to Dope Soul Sports Talk. I know a lot of you are already going to be in the comments in the chat supporting them. To Steph, Jeff, and Ajay, they should all be live. Or I don't know if Jarrell is back on. I saw him on one of the other shows. So we'll be tuned in and watching them. And we'll see you all on Sunday. Everybody have a great end of your week for Friday, rather, start of your weekend. Be safe out there, and we'll see you all. And let's go, Liberty.